Hi, Grandma Joy here. It's fun to look more carefully. Let's look more carefully at leaves today. First, let's start with one green leaf. This is a pineapple sage leaf. It looks pretty average, but even an average leaf is fascinating. If you look underneath the top, look at all those veins there, which you could see really clearly in the pineapple sage leaf. Those are helping the plant collect sunshine as food, as well as the other side that usually points toward the sunshine. So there's one leaf, and it looks like mini leaves, but there are all sorts of different leaves. And it can be really fun to examine them all and think about how they all help the plant turn sunshine into food. Here's another bunch of leaves. Look at that. That's from a rosemary plant. So that has lots of teeny tiny leaves on one long stalk. And they're not round, not in the same way or shaped like this one, are they? So you have very different shaped leaves. And you can look carefully and say, well, that's fun. That's something different. How many different leaves are on each little section? How do the leaves grow on the plant? Let's look at another plant with very small leaves. Here's a plant that is called lavender. And I've included the flower at the top, but under that you've got several leaves. And look at how they're long and thin. And they've got an interesting shape. But they're not at all like some other leaves, right? So that can be fun. We've got leaves that can be shaped like this. This would be from a chrysanthemum. So this plant would have flowers on it eventually. Isn't that an interesting, pretty leaf for the plant to grow? Each leaf and each plant has their own individual personality. And then, of course, some are similar, like all the chrysanthemums, but they might have differences too. So that's pretty fun. How about this? This looks like a very delicate leaf. Very delicate, doesn't it? What kind of little plant would this be on? You might be wondering about that. But actually, these leaves come from a jacaranda tree. These are leaves that belong on a huge tree, and it will eventually have purple flowers. But it looks very delicate if you look at each individual little leaf, right? And you could have leaves like this. These are similar to the first leaf, but they're not from the same plant. This is from a hibiscus. Even though the leaves look very similar in some ways to the pineapple sage, but if you look at them together, you'll see there are differences, right? Look at some of the differences in color. And if you look at the back of the leaves look very different, don't they? Yeah? So it can be fun to look at leaves more carefully. How about these leaves? What do you think about these? It's a bunch of leaves here. That grows along a grapevine. So if you like having grapes to eat, then here are some grape leaves. Some people even eat the grape leaves. They can be quite tasty. So there's grape leaves. And let's look at these. What's that? Would that be something you might want to eat? Should always ask, adults, and even if you're an adult, you should check before you taste something. But this actually is quite nice. This is a mint plant. So it smells good too, though you can't smell it on the video. It's very nice and minty and fresh. So let's see if you remember some of the leaves. That one's a mint plant. There it is. Do you remember what this was? That's a hibiscus leaf. And here you have the one that I showed you first that was similar, the pineapple sage. Though remember, you could tell that by the veins on the underside that really show up, where they don't show up quite as clearly on the hibiscus, right? We have our grapevine. We have a jacaranda, part of a jacaranda. Chrysanthemums. We have rosemary and mint. And we have our little lavender. And for the ending, I will show you something really different. Here's a leaf that grows on a banana plant. That's large, isn't it? Look at how big that leaf is. Isn't that beautiful? That's from a banana plant. It could even make nice shade for me, huh? You could use plants for all sorts of things. I'll talk to you another time. Grandma Joy saying goodbye.